RadioIrish.com.
America's only Irish station, RadioIrish.com. That's what you're listening to. And a movie that I recommend you see now. The BOONDOCK Saints II, All Saints' Day. It's the much-anticipated sequel to the indie cult classic, The Boondock Saints. Now, the film is the continuation of writer-director Troy Duffy's tough, stylized, cutting-edge saga of the MacManus brothers, played by Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flanery. Now, the two have been in hiding with their father, Duce, played by Billy Connolly, in the quiet valleys of Ireland, far removed from their former vigilante lives. When word comes that a beloved priest has been killed by sinister forces from deep within the mob, the brothers return to Boston to mount a violent and bloody crusade to bring justice to those responsible. With a new partner in crime hot on their trail, the Saints are back. And joining us now to talk about his role in the BOONDOCK Saints II All Saints' Day here on Radio Irish is none other than the great comedian and actor Billy Connolly. How are you, Billy? Are you there?
Okie dokie. Hi, Sean. How you doing?
How are you, Billy? What's it like to be back in New York?
Oh, it's lovely. It's smashing. I live here now.
Oh, you live here now?
Yes.
But that's great news altogether, Billy. Now you're here in the city for a screening of the much-anticipated sequel to the indie cult classic, The Boondock Saints, written and directed by Troy Duffy. Here comes The Boondock Saints II, All Saints' Day. Talk to me, Billy, about your role as Duce, who shows up as POPPA M this time around. This character seems to have grown on you a bit, huh?
Oh, the old Duce, he's good. And we did Boston last night, and we got a standing ovation. It was lovely.
And what sort of fellow is Duce, Billy? I know he's been called POPPA M in the sequel. What kind of fun are you having playing him this time around?
He's delightful. He's the nastiest man you can ever imagine meeting. He's a nightmare from hell. He's an assassin. He likes to kill people. And he sees it. He's doing the world a favour by killing bad guys. And the police kind of half agree with him. They're kind of semi on his side. It's a joy to play. I wear 6 9mm guns on my vest. And I'm your worst nightmare.
Now, the film is the continuation of Troy Duffy's tough, stylized, cutting-edge saga centred around your character's 2 fraternal twin sons, the MacManus brothers, played by Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flanery. And this time around, it's 10 years later, and you are all in deep hiding somewhere in Ireland when word comes through of the killing by the Yakavetta crime family of a beloved priest back in Boston. Pick up the story there a bit, Billy. What happens next?
Oh, yeah, well, there's a really bad guy. He is out to get us, and he kills a priest and pretending that he's us. He leaves all the hallmarks that we usually leave behind, the crossed arms and coins on the eyes and all that. And he is the part of the Yakavetta crime family, and we had killed his father 10 years ago. And so he's trying to lure us back, and he succeeds. We come back and have to confront him and the rest of his cohort. And it all works out rather bloodily and rather jollily. And it's a joy. I took a great delight in killing most of them myself.
Now, there's a great quote delivered in BOONDOCK Saints II. Peace, they say, is the enemy of memory, and so it has been for your boys, namely the MacManus brothers, of course. What does that mean to you, Billy? Peace is the enemy of memory. I love that line.
Yeah, I haven't found that to be truthful myself, but it sounds lovely. Peace is a rather pleasant concept. I think you carry peace with you in your heart. You know, I think that's why peace is so hard to achieve in places like Northern Ireland or in the Middle East. It has to be desired, but nobody can come in and give you peace. You have to make peace yourself. It's a rather joyous concept. It has to be in your heart first.
Well, there's a lot of tough talk in the film, Billy, and your character is never short of a great one-liner. But given that Papa M and his two sons are Celtic, do you think that us Irish and Scottish are seen as perfectly suited to these tough guy roles in film? You know, especially by an American audience. Do you think we are born tough guys?
I think there is an extraordinary lure in the Celtic man, the semi-mythical Celtic man, who's the poet and the warrior in the same person. I think people find that very attractive. Whether it's in James Bond or in anybody else, you know, you can be a great lover and a wild man. And I think people find that very, very attractive. And the Celtic man has it in spades, you know. How many times have you met an Irish or a Scottish guy who's a bit of a drunk, but who can give you loads of poetry, and then when you step on him the wrong way, can turn into the fighting man in a bar? They're in their millions, and I think people find it rather attractive. I think women find it rather attractive. You know, you have the wild man who's not afraid to show his more tender side from time to time.
Billy, what's director-writer Troy Duffy like to work with?
Oh, he's brilliant. He's an absolute joy. He has an Irish-American background as well, as you can see from his name. And he is, on the face of it, he's a wild man, a rock and roll man with tattoos. And then you find that his father is an old man from Harvard, a literary man from Harvard, who would give them tests every month. You had to read a novel a month and discuss it at dinner as he was growing up, you know. So he has a seriously literary background. So he is that thing, you know, the poet and the warrior in the same man. And I find him an absolute joy to work with. He has a very odd reputation because of a film that was made about him. A very one-sided affair. And they thought it was going to end his career. But as you can see, he did the remake of Boondock, and every single person who was in the original came back to work for him. And that answers every question that anyone might have about him. You know, from me to Willem Dafoe to Sean Patrick Flanery and Norman Reedus, everybody came back to work for him. And that answers any doubts and questions anyone may have had in their mind about him. He's a joy, an absolute joy.
Well, there's a fair bit of gun touting, all right, and shooting up the streets of Boston in the Boondock Saints II, All Saints Day. And your character, Papa M, seems perfectly comfortable right in the centre of a gun battle or two, Billy.
He is, and he's happiest in the middle of a gun battle.
And the film's style kind of reminds me of the great Clint Eastwood movies or the brilliant action flicks of the Steve McQueen era. Would you not agree?
It has that great feel. There's a great vigilante feel to it that people love, you know. For you behave exactly as they would love to behave. If somebody's really giving them a bad time, it's lovely to get a big gun and just blow the problem away. Of course, it's ridiculous to think of it in society. But as an art form, it's a joy to go and watch someone doing it. Whether it's in Shakespeare or in modern film, or even in biblical film, there's something wonderful about vengeance. Especially vengeance for the working guy. You know, I think at this time in our society, since 9/11, people have tended to feel a wee bit like victims. And they do enjoy seeing vengeance being wreaked, you know. And I must say, I'd rather do myself.
Well, Billy, Il Duce is back with a bang as Papa M, and I know all our listeners here on Radio Irish simply can't wait to see it. Will you say adieu to us now as Il Duce himself, Billy, will you? I'm serious.
I don't know if I could do that. I'm afraid I'd have to have my gear on before I did that.
The great Billy Connolly here on Radio Irish. Billy, thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, and good luck to all of you. Come and see the movie.
All right, Billy, thanks a lot.
Okay. It's a pleasure talking to you. Bye-bye.
RadioIrish.com.